Good to go.
Actually, you know what? Before we do that, we can take a quick ad break right now.
Hmm.
And we're back.
Hmm.
I know I should have done that before, but we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So, High Republic, Taylor hit me up. He's like, "Oh, we gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about this. This is news. They confirmed it, and we're talking about this. Good thing there's other news." But I just told him like, "Do we really need to talk about this? Because this is just everything I said, and like I'm not gonna spoil it, but I got two big things right in. I got two big things right in actually, I got three big things right in the finale. There was just one we talked about now again that I was like, oh yeah, I got that. Oh, this is the one that I got right. This is the fourth one, and so they had said the investors called it this High Republic Acolyte show is going to take place 50 years before the beginning of what was it, the end of the Old Republic or what it is.
This is the end of the High Republic.
But I mean, like, it takes place at the end of the High Republic is at the end of it's 50 years before the Old Republic, right? That's what they had
Hmm.
said. Yeah. So I had said in the investors call that I think you're gonna get Plagueis, you're gonna get Palpatine. Do I think they're gonna be day one right there? No, but just the way they describe it as like, oh, the Jedi are on a roll, and then something dark arises. To me, that just has Sheev written all over it. He's always
Sheev.
arising with something dark, and I think that you will get Plagueis, you will get Sheev. I'm not saying they will be there day one. They might not even be there in season one, the same way it looks like Thrawn took a few seasons to get to. I think they will be in the background and then eventually come in and then you'll get to know more about them. I just, like I said, it's the only thing of like, I am a little not bummed out, but a little less excited because I was always so excited about High Republic, even though I didn't love everything about the era so far. I've heard it's like, well, it's something so far away. Let's get to it. But now it's kind of like connecting that prequelness. I like the idea of seeing more Plagueis and Palpatine, so sign me up, bud. I did still want something further away, but again, I told you this was going to happen. I told you they were going to do this.
The whole time I just had in mind that it's gonna be like 200 years before, and I was thinking like we'll get something
Mm,
like Bane or whatever. That being said, yeah, you're right, and I'm so on board for this because 50 years before Phantom Menace, that's still a little bit out of arm's way for Palpatine. I see that we could probably get that. Let's say we get a season 2 or 3, then I could see you bringing in like young
yeah.
Palpatine for sure. But at this point in time, in Phantom Menace, he's probably in his 20s. I would say like late 20s ish as a senator, and then you have him in the original trilogy. He's in his like 60s, probably 50s, and then by the sequel trilogy, he's in his fucking 90s. So as a clone, so
The sequel, I guess, yeah, he's in his 90s as a
yeah.
clone. He looks a lot worse than
Oh,
90s,
he
but
does. But yeah, this movie, like I've got the book Darth Plagueis on my shelf. I haven't read it yet. I've been going through my Thrawn books first, but I wholeheartedly and full-heartedly want to see Darth Plagueis, and I'm glad because he is canon. I don't know how Disney's gonna do it, if they're going to change up his species or whatnot, because they could. All they have is the name to go by, and they don't have to make him a moon or a mune.
a moon.
Moon.
Well, he is like I've always wondered that because also snow can happen and everything like that. But with Plague, it's like he is like a very different looking character. He's a very like if they go with that, he has to be very animated, like very
Mm-hmm.
CG, and that obviously is a lot of budgetary things. And honestly, like I need to see him in live action because like the thing with Plagueis, he's never looked scary to me. Like anytime we see him, he did like, but I think they would go relatively like that look,
What do you mean you Plagueis has never looked scary to you when you've seen him? How
his
many
alien
times?
form. He's
Like
just like
his
like
flatter head?
just everything. Yeah, he just like it's the same way Squid Guy in the Jedi doesn't look
Mm.
intimidating at all. It's just like I get it, he's a species, that's a good way to go, but it's just like there's something about it where it just looks like cartoony, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I think Plagueis has always looked like. Now we've never seen him in really any other form. We've not seen him in animated or live action, so that could change the second I see him that way. But just it's just like I don't know. Let me pull up a picture of him. Let's see. And then Tarlik says the art design and tech for the High Republic era will be interesting to see. It will
Oh
be,
yeah.
but that was always my problem again of like it saying it's close to the prequels, like it's 50 years between the prequels. It will be a little bit different, but then we're going to be transitioning into kind of prequel tech. So that's where it's like, again, I was like, I didn't need to see that. Like, I know what that looks like, but
Well, I don't think it's. I don't know if we're gonna see it transitioning. Like we're just gonna get like straight up old school High Republic tech.
It's gonna be the same way they transitioned at the end of Revenge of the Sith, where like overnight everyone tripped switched into stormtrooper outfits and emperor outfits. Like what happened? But like yeah, like he just like the long head and everything like that. Like he,
That okay, that's not a flattering photo of him though. When you
but
see
like
the
you,
thumbnail, he looks so much scarier.
yeah, maybe. Like, and are you talking about this one from the side from your Darth Plagueis book? Like, is that the one you
I
showed up?
like
Like, I
that,
don't.
but that's not the thumbnail. No, the one I went with is he's sitting in the background on his throne with his hood up, and Palpatine is training in front of him. It just looks so
Okay,
sick.
I
He's
trust you. And go to YouTube. Look at the thumbnail too. Oh, this. Okay, this one right here.
yeah, that one's sick.
Okay, great choice of the thumbnail. I applaud you. You don't see his face. His hood's up and
Okay,
he's
fair
just
enough.
shaded black. So it's like, yeah, he looks cool because he just looks like Death. I'm not opposed to it. Just he's always kind of like a little cartoony to me. He's not like fucking Darth Malik or Revan where it's like boom and like that's the thing with Revan. I'm like a little off topic, but like with Revan and Bastila, like I feel like we can never get them because like I feel like Ray, like they're just so much like Ray and Kylo. Like Kylo's mask is very Revan like. Bastila is like a brown haired, dual wielding British woman, and that's gonna be Ray. So it's like I don't know if we'll ever get those, but I do want Plagueis. I want that whole. I think Plagueis. You could even see him because do you know the lineage of the master to apprentices? Like I know it's Sheev and then play, but do you know who Plagueis' master was? I'm sure
Wasn't
you
I
do.
think it was Darth Tenebris, I believe.
So I was just wondering if there was a chance that we could see, and there is because they do this all the time in these shows now. I still think there's a chance you could see Plagueis with a different apprentice that fails him, like in that sort of
That's
sense.
what I was thinking. I think that's where
Yes.
the acolyte probably comes into play. And I would love to see that if he's trying to train someone, you get this dynamic. And like how cool would that be if this apprentice tries to kill him and he just absolutely fails and they fight, you get an awesome Sith fight, which would be super cool, and Plagueis kills his apprentice, and then at the end of the show he goes off and you see him recruiting a young Palpatine and Palpatine just
Oh
murdered his
yeah.
family. Like it's just so cool. And that's what happened. Palpatine killed his
I know, but
family,
just when you
so
say it just like that, and he's murdered his family, it's like, oh Jesus. Yeah, there's lots, and then because that's the thing where I think that you could, if you want, it's the same way with this. If we talked about that Luke thing, and that was real, if the concept is, and because this, how do you take this show? Because they said it's about dark side, blah blah blah, and the acolyte. Do you think our main character? Do you think is a light side user or dark side user? Because I know there's the acolyte and everything, but to me, when I hear the acolyte, I take it as the same way the Phantom Menace, where it's like our main characters are still the good guys, but there's like this aura, this shadowy threat around them, and like what's going on. I don't think, because some people have said they think like, oh, the main character is going to be like from the Sith's point of view, and we'll see that. I don't think that's what's happening here. I think you'll have maybe you could have a dual hander of two characters where you see the perspective of the people in the High Republic and then the acolyte. But I think it's more Phantom Menace where it's like something is arising, but our main character is still a good guy.
oh, excuse me, I had the yawn. I was gonna talk. I think that I mean you could be right. I am inclined to think that we're gonna get the dark side stuff. That being said, it's hard because the dark side is just so mysterious, and that's something they play off of with their stories. They don't ever let you really see the dark side head on in their storyline. Like OG trilogy, you never got to see Palpatine's perspective head on. Even in the prequel trilogy, it was never head on with Palpatine or the dark side. It was always the Jedi and Anakin and the light side. So
Yeah, it's all about making good guys and selling toys. But I guess that's the counter of like, I think it will still be a good guy. But do you think because it's Disney Plus, this is the time to take that plunge, just do something different?
I hope so because we have all these other shows with the good guys. I mean,
Yeah.
this should be the one show where they do indeed do something different. Give us that dark side user. Maybe it is a Jedi at the time. Maybe it's just some other random figure that we've never met before, period. And he just is on his own path and he encounters Darth Plagueis and Darth Plagueis starts recruiting him. Maybe we don't even know it's Darth Plagueis at first and
Well, and you said he. It sounds like from the word though
she.
that the yeah the she and she. But see, that's always that'd be a great thing as far as there's two like okay, people are gonna say they did that in the prequels. Yeah, they did it, but very poorly. There's two things that I've always pitched that I want to see. I want to see a TV show of characters we don't know, and maybe you could do one Jedi Master. But my pitch is Disney. You know, my phone's right here. I'm ready to write this. But the thing I want to do the most with Star Wars is what is the perspective of like a young boy or girl finding out they have the Force, and then that change of life where it's like you're living with your family, and then all of a sudden you're taken away, and you're going to the Jedi Council, and you're training, and just like you're living this whole new lifestyle, and you're not supposed to see them and have emotions. Like to me, that's just so much. And I thought about it in Jedi Fallen Order of like how much weight is on a child when that's going on at such a young age, you know? And that's a good thing with such good child actors. So I've always wanted to see like a true like master and apprentice, like just build up of like what happened. The other thing I'd like to see is if we started this show with this female protagonist that was on the light side and slowly turned to the dark side. And you can make it that not so much of just like, that was my problem. The prequel to me, it just felt so black and white with Anakin, just like, I'm just bad because I got to say Padme. Just like the way they've talked about Last Jedi, they talk about Mando, other things as far as like you can see her turning because one, she wants that power, she craves the power, but two, maybe she's starting to side her ideologies more with the dark side, and not just because I want to be bad, just more because I agree with the way they do things. And that would be great to see someone actually slowly, and even the vice versa too, of seeing a dark side user like for multiple seasons slowly turn good. Pretty much what I'm pitching is just like Breaking Bad but Star Wars, where it's like, oh, Walter White's a teacher, he's doing good, but at the end it's like he is the full-on villain of the show. Imagine if you could get that with this show, where our main character starts as a good person and then slowly transitions. And you could have, I think the way you could do that is you have them have a friend that's also like someone that's equivalent to their level. So like later on down the line when they're Sith and evil, you have their friend who could be our second main character that would have to go and fight them, you know? So it's like, well, I hope that's my only thing is like I don't know how I feel about the time frame, but that's where I get at least somewhat excited. Is I hope they do get a little wild with the show because MCU is getting wild with their stuff. So I hope Star Wars does the same.
I agree. I really do. Again, I know you and Kirkland are both on board. Give me like a dark Sith lady for sure. Like I would love that. We got a little bit of Dark Ray, and that was super super hype while it lasted. I wish that they had more of that. Again, we the closest we've seen to a dark side user who's a female is Asajj Ventress, and I would just love to see
Yeah.
more variety. Give us more. Like the Sith have always been humanoid, and most of these Jedi have always been humanoid, even in the game like Fallen Order. So, like as you said, go crazy. Do all kinds of wacky stuff. Give us different genders and like species and all
Yeah.
crazy like Sith races and Jedi races, all that stuff. I want to see that, and it would just blow my mind. That'd be fantastic. And with Plagueis, they have that opportunity. They could make him that moon species and make it creepy, make it freaky. Don't do it as bad CGI was in Attack of the Clones, because that you remember that Mune, like what does he say? The banking clan will sign your treaty, and he just that CGI like oof, that was some 2002 stuff. But I think that
No, or some Mando finale
some
stuff.
Mando finale stuff. Yeah, I think they could perfect it though, and yeah, I just get jiggy with it.
Get jiggy with it, he says. So, well, yeah, we'll see. I'm very excited. That's the one I'm probably most excited for as far as next to Kenobi. I'm most excited for that one for the Disney Plus shows, not counting Mando and stuff like that because we like those shows already, so it doesn't really count. So,
Mm-hmm.